How much will SDSU be underestimated coming into this year? That is from Dan Wildy or Wild. I hope I'm not pronouncing your last name wrong. Dan Wildy or Wild, one of the two. But he said, how much will SDSU be underestimated coming into this year? I don't think they'll be underestimated too much. They're still a good team. They still have a lot of talent coming back. I haven't seen confirmation on if Mark Gronowski, I know he's still on their roster online, but I haven't technically seen any confirmation that he's playing again this year or if he's going somewhere. I think there might be more answers on that after spring ball, but I think if you guys have Mark Gronowski, you guys can do anything. I think that running back that you guys have, who I believe I saw as a senior this year, really good player, that running back. I think you guys are returning, well, maybe not. I think you guys lost 3 linemen, so it still seems like you guys have got some good pieces in your offensive line room. The roster online doesn't specify whether these guys are tackles or guards, so I don't know what grade each player was in. I saw you guys have some redshirt freshmen, some freshmen, and then you guys got quite a few seniors on the offensive line too. So I think it's a healthy mix of age with youth in that room, but I think that's going to be the biggest question for South Dakota State is their offensive line. I don't know how much they lost on their D-line. I know that was a staple as well. That's going to be something to pay attention to as well. How much did they lose on the D-line? How much did they lose on the offensive line? I think from a skill position perspective, you lost the Yankee twins, so that's going to be a hole to fill. I think offensively is going to be the biggest question mark for South Dakota State. I think defensively they should be pretty strong. It's so hard to tell without knowing where all they lost their pieces from. And obviously the quarterback's going to be a big spot. I know they got like 3 or 4 guys in the room, some guys who got some age, some young guys in the quarterback room, but there's a lot of holes to fill on this team now that you look at it. You look at the offensive line. They lost, I think, 3 guys on that offensive line. They lost 2 receivers on the outside. They lost the running back, the best running back in the country from an FCS level perspective. You can say maybe Dylan Loeb, maybe him or Isaiah, but those 2 guys both going to the draft, both probably going to get drafted. So 2 of the best running backs in the country, I would say Isaiah Davis, but you're losing Isaiah Davis, you're losing your receivers, you're losing a good chunk of your offensive line. I don't know what you're losing on defense, but I think you're losing some pieces on defense as well. So I don't think they will be underestimated, but I could see them coming in as maybe being top 10, between 5 and 10. They just won back-to-back national championships, so obviously the hype around them is going to be real, and everybody's going to want to know what they're going to do. But in terms of if they'll be underestimated, I don't think you can underestimate a back-to-back national champion. I don't know if you can underestimate them, and I don't know if anybody will be underestimating them. I think everybody will give them their rightful respect, but I will say this. I think that people will put North Dakota State over South Dakota State. I think a lot of people saw what North Dakota State was able to do late in the season. They see a lot of the pieces that North Dakota State has returning to them. They just see all the makings of a team that is going to be good this year. I think that's what people see in North Dakota State. And obviously everybody knows the history of North Dakota State, so they've been good for years and years and years. So if they were good this year, I don't think that would surprise anybody. But I really don't think South Dakota State's going to be underestimated next year. I think they'll be, a worthy opponent, and I think the fans will respect them as an opponent as well, because everybody's seen what they've been able to do in the last 2 years. They've only lost one game since the beginning of 2022. So they've been winning, and they've been winning and in pretty decided fashion. So I don't think you can underestimate this team, because nobody's been able to beat them for so long. So what are you going to say or do to them about them that is going to phase them or make them seem they're not an underdog? They're not an underdog. Let's just be real about that. So I don't think anybody's going to underestimate them. I think everybody's going to give them their rightful respect.